So I'm here with Evelyn Kung, and she is answering your questions in real time. So this next question that I have, the person writes in and says, I work with special needs. I wish to further my skills for working with my clients. I took an RBT online class and feel like I just really didn't get enough information. I really like the way your videos are explained. Do you offer a study course, or could you recommend one? And thank you. And you know, because we just went to ABAI, and what I thought was so much fun, we've had this happen before, but a lot of people came up and said that they watch our jargon of the day to study for their tests.
That's funny.
To learn them, which makes me happy in a way that I can't even express. But we do not yet offer a course here on Autism Live or CE credits on Autism Live. You know, that's just not what we do. But I know you've got lots of different things that you can talk about, and you were talking about IBT before.
Yeah, IBT actually, there's a professional side and there's actually a parent side. Mm-hmm. So if you are a teacher or, you know, work in some field with special needs, the professional side is probably going to be good for you. So being able to go through, you did the RBT class, which is good. You might consider the BCAT class because that one specifically focuses on autism techniques, and it puts a lot of the behavioral techniques into autism situations.
So RBT, for people who don't know, Registered Behavior Technician. But that's a more general about ABA, correct?
Yes.
And so that, correct me, because somebody was asking me about this the other day, and I said I should check to make sure that I have this right. But it's a 40-hour online class that anybody can take. You can do it through IBT, and it's less than $450 to take the whole class. And but then do you have to do? Do you know you have to do something else besides take a test at the end?
Well, the question is whether you care about being RBT certified through the BACB, the Behavior Analyst Certification Board.
Okay, so what do you have to do that besides the class?
I would say go to the BACB.org site and look at all the requirements, and then there's yearly requirements because they have to keep it up to date.
Yes. And then the BCAT, tell us about what that is.
So that's Board Certified Autism Technician, and that takes the ABA rules and implements it into situations that are kids on the autism spectrum.
Okay, and that is you can take an online class as well
It's an online class
on IBT, and you take a test, a pretty intensive test. But with BCAT, you also, to get certified, you also have to do some hours, and somebody has to supervise you.
There's some maintenance also, and both degrees right now are recognized by a lot of funding sources.
Yeah.
So it's one way to just get more experience. And then if you go on to the IBT website, the Institute for Behavioral Training, there's a lot of other information because people go there for information at the BCBA level too. And so it'll take you from the basic BT, behavior technician, all the way up to things that the BCBA is looking at too. So the supervisor.
So, and just as an FYI, because people go, oh, I couldn't do that. I'm a parent, and the first time the BCAT was offered, the test, I took the test and passed the test. I did not do all the other things, so I am not a BCAT, but I have passed the BCAT test, which is very exciting for me. I want a badge. I want like a little knit badge for that. Right? And it was stressful. I remember sitting down going, oh, what did I get myself into? And I did not get a perfect 100 because I'm not good at the data questions. That's where I would have needed to study. But in any case, I think it's super worthwhile, and I wish that had been available when my son was going through therapy, because I kept, for the longest time, only took it down when we moved a few months ago. There was a sign in our bathroom that said, my son's team is only as strong as its weakest player, and I will not be the weakest player on my son's team, right?
Yep.
And, if I had gone through the RBT or gone through the BCAT training when my son was in therapy, I know I would have been a better parent.
Well, I don't know. I think you learned it like you showed. You learned most of it anyway,
Well, but years later, if I had known in year one, and like I tell you what, you guys, even I took the RBT training for the first time like a couple of months before my son finished, because that's when it was available for the first time. And then I didn't do the BCAT stuff until way, way, way later. But I remember having an aha moment in the RBT training, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then talking to someone in my life about it and saying, for instance, that there are this chain of events that happen that have to make a skill happening. And the example that they used was a child putting on a shirt. And they were saying, so you think about all the things in the task analysis, about how you take the shirt and you scrunch it up to get, and I was like, oh, see, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that teaching my child. And I was telling somebody else about it, who has a neurotypical kid, and they were like, what? I'm trying to teach my daughter how to do that right now. And I didn't know about the scrunching up to the neck. I never thought about that, but of course you do that. And then was able to finish teaching her neurotypical daughter because of that. And that both of us had this aha. That's just one example when you do these trainings that you go, I didn't think about that. And then once you do think about it, you don't think about the fact that you didn't think about it once before. Does that make sense?
It does, but there's more than one way to do something too.
Absolutely.
So the scrunching up the neck, some people do it, some people don't. It's just an easier way to teach. So that's the difference.
But
it's just another way.
I think it's enlightening to realize all the things you don't know that your therapists know, and that your therapist, it hasn't occurred to them to tell you, because to them they just know it, and they don't realize that you don't know it. I know, I'm way too many pronouns. But it's exciting is what I'm telling you, and it's worthwhile. So I always encourage parents, what's great about it is you can do it whenever you want. You can pause it so that if you're 15 minutes into it and you're like, I gotta cook dinner, pause, and you can come back to it a week later.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So anyway, now I'm gonna cough. We should take a short break, and then we're gonna be back with more of your questions. Stick with us.